going to be, but I do want to say that we're all happy to talk about jobs. We've been here about 160 days, and we're still waiting for the majority to put forth any kind of proposal that would help on the jobs front, and that certainly would play into security and retirement. But we haven't seen any bills about infrastructure banks being created, nothing about research and development certainties going forward, nothing about Workforce Investment Act, any consequence. So by all means, let's talk about jobs, and that will help everybody's security. But for now, at this particular hearing, Mr. Richmond, we're supposed to be talking about security and retirement. So I think you said 1/3 of the current retirees rely on Social Security for all of their income.
That's correct.
And that's of an average about $14,000 a year?
14,000. For women, it's an average of 12.
And 2/3 of our retirees rely on Social Security for about half of their income or more. Is
That's
that also
correct.
correct? So you tell me, if we had privatized Social Security, so that people didn't get their payments out as they do under the current system, but instead had to rely on the volatility of the market and investments, would that 1/3 or 2/3 be more secure or less secure?
Well, they'd be suffering, is the way I would characterize it. They would be suffering quite a bit, and we're grateful that the Congress didn't pursue that approach to Social Security privatization.
So for people in general, but specifically for people at that lower end who are earning only enough to get that minimum benefit, or to have that minimum benefit be half of their retirement, if they had a defined benefit plan that they could have counted on a certain payout under the formulas for that, but switched to a defined contribution plan where, again, they were subject to the verities of the market and their investments on that, would that individual be more secure or less secure?
Well, it would be less secure. I guess I think what you're pointing out, at least the way I see it, is we need to have one source of retirement revenue that is secure, that you can count on, that isn't subject to the whims of the market. And as was pointed out earlier, there are ups and downs in the market, but you retire at a certain time, and you can't predict whether it's going to be at the top of the market or at the bottom or anywhere in between.
So let's carry it on. For those individuals who are now paying about 25% of the cost of Medicare, under the Republican proposal they voted on, they'd be paying eventually about over 60%, 65% of that. So obviously I would assume that would make it a less secure environment for them, less certain. But also right now, if you get Medicare, you have, and stop me if I'm wrong, there's a guaranteed set of benefits, am I right?
That's correct.
Right. You have preventative care now and well-being visits.
After passage of the Affordable Care Act, that is correct.
You have your choice of provider. To anybody that accepts Medicare has to accept a particular patient, so you have a choice of all those providers, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is it also true that if you are older and sicker, you don't get penalized for that? Your premiums don't go up through the roof because of that?
That's one of the beauties of the system.
Okay. So if we switch to the Republican plan on that, do you see any guarantee in there that an insurance company must provide a plan?
You know, the only guarantee I see is that seniors would pay more and get less. That's the guarantee that I see.
But do you even see a guarantee that insurance companies would have to offer a plan?
That's correct.
There's nobody assuming that they will. If they do offer a plan, there's no guarantee that they would offer a plan with the same basic guarantees that the Medicare system.
Well, you know, Congressman, you can look at history. Before we had Medicare, what you're describing was a fact of life. And what at the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare, our concern is that this whole approach, whether it's privatizing Social Security or privatizing Medicare, is really an effort to go back to the 19th century when, as one of your colleagues said, you're on your own. Good luck, you're on your own. And I don't think most Americans want to go there, and I was asked why people support the program, both programs. It's because we don't want to go back to that era.
Well, I guess that sums it up fine. I yield back.
Thank you, gentleman, for yielding. Mr. Scott.